Oh, here we go again, yeah. Oh, here we go again. Let's do it one more time, yeah. Oh, here we go again.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Brew View. Today we are at Orchestrated Mind Brewing in Fort Lauderdale, and I have with me the owners and head brewers, Davy and Jamie. Hi.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. Absolutely. So guys, tell us about how you got started in beer and brewing.
Oh wow.
That's all you.
Oh, yeah. So we actually, when we were in college, we were like liquor drinkers more than beer. And my wife Jamie is from Connecticut, and so when we started dating in like 08 or 09, and when we would go visit her family up there, I was introduced to like the Boston beer scene and sort of like the quasi New York beer scene. So places like Other Half, Trillium, and Treehouse, and they had these huge like big body flavored beers that I had never had in my life. I never was like a big like lager guy. Now I am. But back then, you know, when I was younger, 25, 26, I wasn't super crazy about a lot of the beer that I was drinking. It all seemed to sort of taste the same, and I wasn't into dark beers and stuff like that. And as I got exposed to these crazy, like, hazy New England IPAs and crazy sours and wild ales coming out of Connecticut, I really just, like, fell in love with the product. And we had moved here to Florida, and I wasn't having a lot of access to a lot of those styled beers at the time. The industry's definitely closer now than it was back in 2011, and I was just completely blown away by what they were doing in like the New England area. Okay. And it blew my mind, and I wanted it. I started like trading for it or having proxies go pick up stuff and ship it to us.
Really?
We were getting like 100 cans a month probably in the mail. Just spending way too much money on beer to get it shipped here, but we were just so passionate about what they were making and figuring out how to create something like that just really like started to pique my interest.
Okay. So how'd you start brewing?
A friend of mine, actually his name is Jens, we started working together at a place called Matomi, actually in Pembroke Pines, and he kind of took my passion that was already sort of burgeoning. He kind of elevated it even higher. Okay. And we started going places like Funky Buddha and going to John Wakefield in Miami and MIA Brewing and all of these breweries that were starting to pop up. We're like every day after work, and then on Fridays we would do like, or Thursdays we'd do Thirsty Thursday, and we'd get out of work at like 2 o'clock and we'd go find places that had craft beer, World of Beer, all of those places that had crazy ass beers that were from places we couldn't get to without a plane, and places that were doing limited releases, especially for seasonal beer. And he was actually my manager at the job. He and I like took a chance back in 13 and got a 1 gallon homebrew set, brew your own from Amazon. And I mean the story, like you've heard it, is tried and true. It's the truth. We went and we got on the kitchen stove.
The two of you?
No, my friend Jens.
Oh, okay.
And Jamie was there, but she wasn't. She's a vodka girl at the time. Pretty.
Until I drank Grimm.
Yeah, until she found Grimm.
Okay.
And so we were getting into Grimm and stuff at that time, especially on the sours. But my friend Jens and I, we said, yo, we can make this beer. We can do this, right? And so we get an IPA. It came out like super dark. Really? It wasn't terrible.
How long ago was this?
This was in 13 or 14. And he and I brewed it, and you had to go through the whole process of, the 1 gallon jug, and then we had to put it into bottles and add priming sugar and let it sit for 2 weeks at room temperature. And thank God none of them exploded. I had heard horror stories about home brewers' whole like closets just being flooded with too much priming sugar.
I still find stout like all over the blinds. Something
Well,
exploded.
but that was the kegs when we were doing the stuff at Art Walk. This was a home brew we never did anything else in bottles after that one, the 1 gallon thing. We bought the home brew, the same canner that we have now, and started canning stuff. But we made messy transfers from fermenters into kegs and we made every mistake you could possibly make.
That's how you learn.
Yeah. It was like trial by fire. But that first beer was he and I, and we hadn't even drank it. We let it sit, and it did all its stuff. And it was his birthday, and we went to Ybor City up in Tampa, and that was the first time that we tried it. And Tampa really just, it blew our mind, that beer scene, that camaraderie, Angry Chair, obviously the OGs like Cigar City. We were going to like the Kegs and Eggs, and it was like beer with food pairings, and it just blew our mind. You know, Lauderdale had opened here, and they started doing some food pairings like that, and it just really blew our mind. And after that first one, we said, well, brewing it itself wasn't the most difficult thing, but making it good was hard. So then, after just one brew, I said, look, we're going to get a 5-gallon kettle. We're going to start doing some different things. We're going to get the big glass fermenters that were like 7 gallons so that we can really start seeing our product improve.
Okay.
And after doing about 10 or 15 different beers on the porch.
On your Amazon kit.
Well, after just one, I upgraded to like a Bayou burner with a propane tank and like a big like 5 or 10 gallon kettle.
Okay.
So then so we were doing it that way, and then I upgraded to the 10 gallon with like the Home Depot the big orange coolers.
Okay, right.
And I was like, I mean, that's like your pretty traditional home brew setup.
Yeah.
We built our own false bottom, jerry rigged this thing with quasi pumps. I mean, it was so, that's the funny thing. It's like, if we didn't get beer infected back then, I don't know how we're going to screw it up now. You know what I mean? It's like, there's leaves falling in the shit while we're brewing. I mean, it's craziness. It was not sanitary, no gloves, you know. We were just flying by the seats of our pants. And we were doing about 3 beers at the time, which actually we still do today. Touch of Grey, which is our blonde ale. It's a Earl Grey blonde ale infused, it's a blonde ale infused with Earl Grey tea and a smidgen of lactose. So it's a very different blonde ale. We have that on tap right now. It's a really great beer. It's really one of our best sellers, which is, I was always blown away by. It's like blonde ale. Nobody cares about a blonde ale, but people really like our take on it.
Okay.
And we knew that just from brewing at home. People were like, they were in love with it. So we did that one. Then we created our base stout, which we still brew today, called Baseline. That's really like the lifeblood of Orchestrated Minds. We love dark beer. And when we found out how to make stouts and how to make big, thick stouts, we just fell in love with it. And then we started making saisons. I was always very much passionate about farmhouse ales, traditional, like old world beer with our kind of modern twist on it. And that's how I think of our brewery today. We have respect for tradition, but we put our own new way of like progressive thinking towards beer. We definitely try to always pay homage to the old world yeasts of the world. I still use the Saison DuPont yeast for my saisons. You know, super old world yeast, and it's, you know, you can't be super duper great without paying homage to sort of where it all started.
Sure.
And that's what we did on the porch. And after about maybe 25 or 30, we probably have brewed about 40 beers in like to 5 gallons.
Okay.
And we started thinking like, people are really liking this. Like I said, what can I do to kind of get my name out? We live in Victoria Park, and the art walk had just come up here around maybe 16 or 17, probably 17. We've been homebrewing for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and we got a really great, nice lead that allowed us to come and give our product away for free at Art Walk.
Oh, cool.
And so for about a year, almost 2 years, we went once a month with 2 to 3 kegs, all new beer.
Really?
And we would give it away for free, and we would get feedback. Now,
sure.
The tough thing with giving your beer away for free is that everybody loves free beer. It could have tasted like shit, and everybody's like, fuck it, pour me another one.
Yeah,
you know, and so.
Of course, they love it.
Yeah, it's so great. You know, it's like, okay, but would you pay for this? Oh, I don't know. It's okay. So we got to get better. But brewing and putting yourself out there, you know, we did get a lot of really great feedback, and we did get a lot of quality feedback that did let us know we were at least on the right path. And so, you know, her and I, we had discussed so many things about wanting to create businesses and wanting to do things that sort of, her as an attorney, her career was really taking off, and I was so proud of what she was doing, while at the same time really wanting to get out of what I was doing. And you know, she supported it 100%, and she said, you know, well, let's look at some places. Let's see where we could find a space that maybe would allow us to open up a small sort of boutique brewery. We knew that we never wanted private investors. We never wanted, we were both very independent, and so we never wanted someone to feel like they could give us their opinion to tell us what we had to brew or tell us what we had to make, other than our customers.
Right.
We always listen to our customers, but we never wanted someone kind of behind the veil saying, oh, well, this is what you need to make, or you need to name it this, or you need to paint the walls red, I don't like it black. We knew we wanted to be 100% independent. And we found this space. It was a 2,500 square foot space. This was an auto body shop.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, we were a great landlord. We both were very passionate about turning around this community. Dorsey River Bend is so awesome. It's so prime and ready to be tapped with really cool restaurants and really cool stuff. And we were excited about being the force of change, I think, in the community to really get other business owners wanting to come here. And our landlord was very passionate about it too. He had just purchased the whole building, and he had, you know, mostly it was like car body stuff and like a couple other like really small things, but nothing that was customer forward. And he knew that he wanted to change the space into being more customer forward. And so we were all on the same page. In September of 2018, we signed our lease with him.
Okay.
We broke ground on this space in February of 2019.
So there was no building here.
The building was here, but this was just an open bay.
Gotcha.
2,500 square foot of ugly, like baby poop green and yellow.
Okay.
And I had three friends of mine, Thomas Pilla, David Harbor, Guillermo Garcia, and Shane Johnson came in and helped me. We tore this whole fucking thing down.
Yeah.
We tore the whole place down. There was no AC, there was no bar. The only structure that was actually here, and it wasn't even with this really fancy stainless steel right here metal, it was just the actual support beam.
Okay.
That was actually here. We did cut a little bit off though, just to make sure it would support some weight, but that was it. So we actually built everything from the ground. We broke open all the floors. We re-epoxied all of these floors, put in AC, put in a firewall, did all the roll-ups. The window over there was a door. The door was a window. Knocked out the roll-in, put a real sexy roll-up door. I always wanted that like complete look, you know, like you look in and it looks inviting. Even though it's like dark and black and we love black, but we always wanted it from the outside to be like very appealing and lots of natural light.
Yeah.
And so we broke ground in February. Really didn't have any kind of issues at all. You know, we worked,
Really?
we had a great GC.
That's so lucky.
Skywork Development, it's actually on the corner. Jason and his team, Jason Shalinsky, complete transparency from the beginning to the very end.
That's great.
Just, you know, no horror stories, no issues, no denials on permits or anything. I don't know how I got so lucky. It would never happen again.
I never hear that. I never hear that story. So that I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
It was really just unbelievable.
That's great.
Like it was just so really just so seamless. And
That's great.
And I think we got denied like on a plumbing. They didn't want us to paint the back. They didn't like the drywall in the back. And so we painted it, you know, and they came and approved it. We shot for an opening. We did like a soft opening at the end of August of 2019. We really wanted to get all our friends together for the start of football season. It was the Florida Gators versus the University of Miami. And I'll never forget, I was pushing so hard up to the day, like I'm trying to get all my licenses. That was a little bit more difficult. The issue with getting your licenses is that they don't give you they don't tell you what you need to get the license until you go to get the license with what you thought you needed. And then they tell you, no, but you got to get this and you got to get this signed. Nowhere in the documents is it telling you where to go get the stuff signed. They literally had us go over to one facility. I'm not going to name it. It's not important. And they signed it like in the margin. Like there was nothing at all official about this.
Wow.
I could have done it myself if I had known that.
Yeah.
You know? And it was just so ridiculous. I was getting so upset, and I'm having to drive to Margate, which isn't that far, but you're doing it every day. Like, hey, I got everything. No, you don't. What the fuck, you know? I got everything. No, you don't. Golly, like what in the world? And then finally we got it figured out 2 days before we wanted to open. And so we did a soft open for 2 weeks. And we actually opened on September 6th was our first day of 2020. So we actually turned 1 year old this week. Tomorrow.
All right. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your brew setup.
Oh, so I had when I started home brewing after I got off of the typical Home Depot buckets, I started looking around.
You're still using those?
Oh, no, yeah, all the time. All of our beer and leaves still fall in it. I do it outside. Don't tell the TTB that. Nothing's brewed here. We brew it all in the backyard still. No, but in all seriousness, when we upgraded to a 10-gallon home brew set that had like kind of all the bells and whistles, and that was through SS Brewtech. After doing a lot of research with a lot of different companies, and everybody had really great stuff, but this one was kind of like the Cadillac, and it really helped us understand, processes that we just didn't understand, coming from home brewing. And SS had just introduced a nano brewery setup, or a pilot system for a bigger brewery, 10 barrels or bigger. And we really thought that, it was just, honestly, it was like the Cadillac, like I said, of homebrew systems. And SS was a company out in California, made everything in the United States. And we were, passionate about, supporting, obviously, something made in the U.S. And there was a lead time on that of 2 or 3 months. And we did all the research on it. And it really just seemed to fit all our needs. Everything was beautifully in line. Even our friends doing the interview, they know about this system. I mean, it's a really popular nano brewery and our setup, and it just seemed to really fit all our needs. And it had wheels, and you could move it around, so it made cleanup a lot easier. Everything was in line, from your HLT going into your mash tun, going into your boil kettle. Had a wonderful knockout system with a plate chiller that was awesome. You just simply hook up some tap line to that, and you can go from 212 degrees down to about 80 in like 5 seconds. And so it had everything. Wow. That it was so amazing. Had everything that we needed, and with a small learning curve. So we knew opening a new brewery we were going to screw up, and we were going to have so many hard days. This system seemed to be the most idiot-proof of all of them. We still found a way to break pumps and throw out circuits, and we drop a phase of power and all those things. I mean, it wasn't full idiot-proof, but it was pretty much as simplistic to be as extravagant as possible.
Jamie,
Yes.
Tell me, how did you come up with the name Orchestrated Minds?
So I actually can't take credit for that at all. It was all Davy. When we lived in Arizona, when he was in video games, he had a video game company called Orchestrated Minds. And the point was that, no offense, he didn't really have one skill set. His skill set was finding the team and putting them together.
That's
so they would do,
set?
but not, I didn't mean to shade.
No, I know that. I agree 100%.
So he used the name.
I was a jack of all trade, master of none. That's what we would say in industry.
Okay, that's a nice way to put it.
There you go.
So he already had the name back then when he had the video game company. So when we were thinking of things to do with the beer, everyone wanted us to name it after the dog, I think. But it just made sense. Beer's kind of the same thing. You have to put everything together to make it all work together and make everything sing. So we just went with the same name that we had before, and that's where it came from. I really had no say in that at all.
I love it. Make everything sing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and you can see from the logo how it goes up like that. We always felt like we were sort of the conductor of a symphony. And so the Orchestrated Minds, it literally we're leading an orchestra. We're taking all these individual pieces and putting it together to create that end product, to make that symphony sing. You can't do it without someone on bass, without someone on violin, without someone on drums, without someone on the harp. You needed all these individual things, and as one human being, you can't do all of them ever. So it's taking hops, it's taking water, it's taking yeast, it's taking grain. You put them together, and you end up with a really dope product.
So speaking of a really dope product, what is your best seller?
Well, I think over the longevity,
Touch of Grey.
Touch of Grey, due to the fact that we continue to brew it.
Yeah.
I think our stouts almost sell out the day that we release them almost every
The
time.
stouts are the most popular for the new beers, but consistently, I would definitely say Touch of Grey. We have when we take breaks and don't have Touch of Grey, people are upset that we don't have Touch of Grey. So
Where's the Touch of Grey?
and it means a lot to us. It's something that they brewed at home, and you and Tom, I think.
Yeah,
brewed that
Tom
one.
and I. Yeah, my one after I brewed with Jens that first time, I really made a lifelong best friend and just kind of partner in crime with beer. His name was Thomas Pilla. His wife was really fond of this beer from Hill Farmstead in Vermont, which is OG Mecca Supreme, the Mac Daddy, massive, love. And without Hill Farmstead, in just what they do, their whole products, it never would be an Orchestrated Minds. And the same thing, without a Funky Buddha, without all these other places. But Hill Farmstead had a Earl Grey blonde that they were doing that blew her away. And she's like, you guys are brewing, you got to try something like that.
Yeah.
And so we did, and it was a freaking hit.
Yeah.
It's a freaking hit. It's a blonde ale. It's just, I never would have thought that.
And we change it up sometimes. We have a really popular vegan food truck that's been here once or twice. So when we know that, because it does have a little lactose in it, so we've made it without the lactose, so it'll be vegan friendly. So it's just a beer that everyone, people that don't like beer, that come here, they're just tagging along. That's a beer anyone can drink. And
Absolutely.
That's great.
it's a perfect beer for that. Yeah.
So you mentioned your logo a minute ago, talking about the name of the brewery. We have an amazing, super cool mural behind us that also includes the logo. Tell us about this mural.
Aaron killed it for us.
Yeah, Aaron is amazing. We live over Victoria Park, and there was a tattoo parlor right on the corner of Empire. He's moved on from there, but he was at Empire Tattoos, and I, for the longest time, had wanted like a bunch of tattoos and like some sleeve work, and I'm really into like pirates and kind of like water and ships and stuff, and he just made a really bang up piece for me a couple years ago, and I had always wanted to take the piece all the way down, and he and I had stayed in communication for years. I mean, after doing that work, because it was, I mean, we probably had 25 sessions just to get this whole piece done, and I was actually trying to get the piece finished, and COVID hit, and obviously tattoo parlors were put out of business. We were shut down as well, other than to go, and so I had reached out to him, and I said, hey man, his work was awesome. He's done work for Noriega, the rap artist. He's done work for, he was in like a Damian Marley video. I mean, he's ultra talented. His Instagram name is Aaron Official, if anybody wants to follow that. He has a really great following online, and now he's up in Margate working at, I can't think of the name. I have to cheat and look at my phone. But he has a tattoo parlor up in Margate now still. And he came in, and we spent about 3 weeks really. All this was from scratch. I mean, our logo was created from a friend of ours in college out in Arizona.
I was gonna say, it was actually only supposed to be the logo to start, because everything was black before, and I'm very much like, I like it simple. I want everything black. Clean. So they convinced me that they were gonna put the logo. So I approved the logo.
Okay. Okay.
And then Aaron was like, just trust me, I can make this look dope. And he made it look dope. And I was really apprehensive, I'm not gonna lie, but now that it's here, it fits perfect, and it definitely needed it. I think he came up with everything, and then also our dog had just died, so that's how that got put in at the end. And I know he took a lot of time and care, and he really killed it for us. And yeah, just gave the brewery a new life. You know, we were shut down, so we were in our head, you know, it was the perfect time to upgrade, and so when people came back in, we'd have a new look, and we used it for our shirts and everything. So he just really kind of gave it a little facelift in here, and it just looks awesome. And everyone loves it. I love it. I can't even picture it anymore without it there. So
yeah, all the people that you see coming in and just taking pictures with it, and then you see that popping up on like Instagram.
Everybody
have my stories right now.
Everybody does that, yeah. It's the best.
It is.
And it's cool. I get to come in every day.
I mean, it's just like Jamie said. I was like, I really want like a beatbox chick. I'm thinking like Turbo and Ozone from Breaking in the 1980s. I love hip hop. I mean, I love all music, but hip hop was always really special, like just from growing up where I grew up. And we have the turntables here, and when we were open, we always did DJ sets on Thursday and Sunday.
Thursdays.
We did Reggae Thursday and then kind of like Reggae Brunch Sunday. And our friend Christian helps us out with that. And so I was like, what can we do that's kind of that vibe? And he's like, man, I'm going to do a badass chick with a boombox on her shoulder, kind of like the Spike Lee Do the Right Thing. You got the guy with the boombox walking around with the high top fade. And I was like, yeah, but I really wanted to be a chick. And when Jamie and I met, she had like pinkish hair. And so I was like, man, if you could hit that thing with some pink,
Oh, that was another battle. Because I was like, no, black and white only, no colors.
Oh, but look at the lips.
They convinced me.
That's part.
They were right. I'll give it to them.
He's like, I'm gonna put some big old bangle earrings, just 80s as fuck,
As soon as I saw it, it was perfect.
Yeah, and I'm wearing the shirt now. I mean, I wear the shirt everywhere I can. I mean, I love it. I love how it came out. And the space DJ, I'm just kind of like a space cadet some days. Like, I'm really focused on what I need to do, but sometimes I have so many things to do that I never get any one thing finished. I get 7 things partially done. So I was like, well, let's get the DJ set over there. And at first we were going to put Bo inside of the spaceman. But then when he passed, I was like, he really needs his own image, and that image itself has really taken off. We have T-shirts with it. We did stickers of it. We did a beer called Bondulu that's based off him. We have a barrel-aged Bondulu coming out in a couple of weeks that's going to have his label. And I mean, he lives on forever at the brewery. We got him in college, and it's still hard every day. Yeah, Old English Bulldog. And he passed away completely out of nowhere. And so any way that we can continue to celebrate his life, because I know it probably sounds silly or immature, but he was with us through so many tough things. The dog had been from every state, from California to Florida and north to Washington, D.C. And it just, we tried to give him the best life ever, but really we're the ones who got the best life out of it. And it was almost like, he was with us through law school was so hard moving to Miami. Undergrad was hard enough being in Arizona. We were always so far away from our families, and he was like the constant. And it's almost like he waited until everything was fine. It's like he knew, even with COVID, he's like, you guys you're fucking killing it. I've done everything I can do. It's time for me to go. And it's super fucking sad, but it is what it is. So he had to go on to greener pastures, I guess, for lack of a better term. And we just love to celebrate his life here. He's everywhere. I mean, he's on the back bar. I got a picture of him over there on the wall. Anywhere I can plaster that big handsome mug, I try to do that.
It's true.
Sorry.
No.
And I'm like, we gotta pull it up now.
Well, I have the perfect way to pull it out.
So this is our new little monster.
Yeah, so our special guest.
I was
Moogan.
particularly excited about this part of the interview.
He's very excited also.
Yes,
So
he
who is
is.
this?
This is Moogan. Our new baby. He just joined the Orchestrated Minds team last week.
This week. We got him on Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday. So he's still warming up to everybody, but I'm sure
He's 8
gonna
weeks
love it
old.
here. And everyone already loves him, so he's a hit for sure.
He is. I love him. He is a hit. He's like, put me down.
Right? And he's actually one of the big reasons, too, that we actually remain to-go only. Broward being still in phase 1 and just the tap rooms and everything being shut down. We did, like all the other breweries, had the option to partner with a food truck and purchase a food license. And we would have been able to be open, not for at the bar, but at least for tables and whatnot. After losing Beauregard and Beauregard being here so much and really building up such great rapport with folks in the neighborhood to bring in their dogs, we just didn't know how we could disallow dogs into our tap room. And having him here and raising him here was so important. He's a brew dog. And so that's
Dog in training.
Yeah, brew dog in training. And so we're so excited to raise him in here and have him meet and greet everybody. He's such a little bundle of joy. He's named after a character I love from an anime called Samurai Champloo. His name is Moogan, like Jamie said. And
he's like a moo cow.
Yeah, like he's a moo cow.
Yeah.
And he's just so handsome.
He's so gorgeous.
And so we just love having him here, and he's just such a little bundle of joy. He brings back that little sparkle like Beauregard. Just having him at home, for the last 3 or 4 days, like the little nuances that we pick up, that bulldog tendency.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, is he got it. I mean, he spoiled rotten without even spoiled, and sassy and independent. And just the bomb. We love him so much.
That's awesome. I love him too.
He likes you.
Yeah.
So Moogan, how do your mommy and daddy distribute their beer?
Just here, just cans to go. I mean, we're so small. I think you said it when we were talking about the brew system. It's just a 1-barrel system, so we individually can everything.
Okay.
We sell everything in 16-ounce cans to go only right now. So hopefully they open us up soon.
Yes.
We have in the past went through Nomad. Nomad is very small brewery friendly. They have the good contractual agreements that allows us to every now and then do one-off specials. We have sent beer to places like Fat Tap. We trade beer and stuff like that with other breweries. The way that Florida distribution is set up is something we're not a fan of, and we definitely hope that the Brewers Guild continues to fight for our right to be self-distributing, especially as small as we are. Currently, if folks don't know, I have to have them come from Miami, grab my keg, go back to Miami, place it in the warehouse, pick it back up, bring it back to Fort Lauderdale just to go to a restaurant across the street. Now, the ridiculousness of that should already be understood. It's a travesty, and it should be changed, and we need to continue to write everybody that will listen and talk about it every single day, that we should be able to self-distribute. If you'll let me trade with a brewery, you should let me take my beer to any facility that wants to take care of that. You're already nickel and diming us. We pay all our taxes. This is just another way to take more money out of small businesses' pockets, and it's ridiculous.
Heard that.
So how can we find you to come get these beer in cans?
Instagram is probably the best way. Davey actually handles the Instagram, and he shares it all to Facebook too, but he's not very Facebook savvy. He doesn't have Facebook, so Instagram is definitely the way. We're open, our normal hours, non-COVID, are Thursday to Sunday.
Okay.
During COVID, Thursday to Saturday only, so usually like Tuesdays and Wednesdays we start, because we release new beers every week, so on Tuesdays and Wednesdays he'll start posting what the new beers are for the week, telling people all about them. So definitely Instagram, I would say, is the best way.
Yeah.
Also, we're an untapped bar, so our website is like up to the minute, up to the date. However you say up to.
Yeah, it's up to the minute. If it sells out, we take it off.
We can update it, and then it changes it on the website. So
it propagates it through all outlets. So the website is updated, Untapped is updated, Facebook is, everything, any type of plug-in that you have for Untapped will be updated. Our website has the plug-in right there. You can go so you get full descriptions of the beers. But like Jamie said, Instagram or Facebook.
It's potty time.
It's potty time. Instagram or Facebook is going to be the easiest way, and we talk with our customers. We have really good rapport with folks. It gives them the ability to ask questions or comments, and we can very quickly answer those.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Potty time.
While Jamie and Moogan go out and go potty, Davey, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for having us.
Cheers.
Any last words?
We're just so humbled and so grateful that folks continue to want to come by and chat with us, and the growth that we've seen over COVID. I mean, let me just take a quick moment to thank you all, but specifically our continued support from the neighborhood and community. The craft beer community has been fantastic. We've seen our growth go exponentially. We're brewing 50% more beer during COVID than we were before.
That's awesome.
We're selling out weekly of 4, 5, 6, 7 beers. It's so humbling to have y'all support. It's reassuring of what we do. It's so validating every single day that we see new smiling faces. We're going back and looking at the reports and seeing 50% of our customers the last 3 months are brand new. So we're so humbled by y'all support. We will continue to work hard every single day, every single week, to provide you guys with a fresh tap list. We know how important it is to all of you. When you come in, you want to see 3 or 4 new beers. We will continue to do that, even when we grow bigger than what we are now. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. And just seeing y'all smiling faces just means everything to us. Validation is a hell of a drug.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Moogan and Jamie. Cheers.